Welcome to another episode of Anything and Everything with Donna Lisa. I'm your host, Donna Lisa, and today I have another special guest, Lauren Tieru from Paige Rye. It's a little brick and mortar here in Summerlin, my neighborhood in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada. Lauren, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. So a little bit of backstory on Lauren. She and I met in special events. I worked for a small decor company, and she actually worked for a meeting services, meeting planning company. And that's how we eventually connected. And over the years, we've just kind of known each other through the industry. Now, your story is a little bit different. You actually started your shop during COVID, during the pandemic, which is really odd for a lot of people to think like, oh, why would they want to do that? But before I give away too much, can you tell us a little bit about how you actually got started with your brick and mortar and what made you leave special events and decide to do this?
Sure. So I worked, I've been at special events now for 15 plus years, but with a DMC most recently for about 7.5 years. And I enjoyed it, and I had an amazing career, and I met wonderful people, and got to experience so many things that many don't get to. And I loved it. It started to get it is very stressful, and started to get too stressful for me and my family, working a lot of hours, always answering to amazing clients, but always having to kind of be on. And I can actually tell you the exact time when I was like, I'm done, was I traveled for a meeting, which was a fun meeting, but I traveled for a meeting over the holidays in 2019, and I had to miss my son's first ever holiday performance.
Oh no.
And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore, and so I had an idea of this store for a little while. A few years ago, I visited a baby store actually in a different state that had a very small event space as well. And they did like baby showers mostly and things like that inside of this little baby boutique. And I remember thinking, this is brilliant. We don't have anything like this in Las Vegas. Especially working on the Strip, we have such big venues and big event spaces that I just found it intriguing, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for years. And so when I told my husband that I was really, really done in the DMC world, I just knew that this would be enjoyable.
Nice. And it was also, you did it at a time, your little boy is how old now?
Yes, Harrison's almost 4.
Okay, so he's almost 4.
He's almost 5. He's 4 now. He's almost 5.
Got it. And you were doing this with you were growing your family. So
well, yeah. So we have we have an almost 13-year-old, and then we have an almost 5-year-old. And shortly after I put in my notice at my old career, we found out surprise baby number 3 was on the way.
Nice.
So yes, we had her and opened our store a month later. So I kind of say it was my my last child.
Right.
My newest baby. So yes.
Cute. Oh, I love that. And you guys also have a little piggy in the family.
We have a pet pig, Olive, who runs the house for sure.
Very cute. So now I've seen photos of your store. I'm so bad I have not stepped foot in there yet. However, I am attending an event there this month, the end of this month. Sounds like a fun event. Looks like a fun event. I know you've held cheese board events there in the past, so I'm looking forward to really going. It's also a cute little boutique store with a little home decor. You guys have clothing. What was your idea when you were actually thinking of the concept for the store?
Yeah, I and going back to the original store that I had seen years ago that inspired me, for a few years I had thought, I could do that. And then Harrison was kind of out of that baby step. And I said, okay, I don't want to do baby stuff anymore. Not knowing that I would need baby stuff again. But I originally started college in interior design before moving to Las Vegas, and then going into the hospitality industry. And so I said, maybe I'll go back to interior design and not fully, but mostly home decor. I love a good home goods run and Target and all of that. But again, we didn't have anything that was like a specialty home decor boutique. So we specialize in home decor and kind of items that go back to that, even if it's in our baby section, it's baby bedding or baby furniture or things like that as well. So it all kind of ties back to home decor, and then of course a lot of different gifts in store too.
Nice. And I love, I follow your Instagram feed and your Facebook page. You guys have some great decor. So that makes sense. You went to school for interior design. That completely makes sense, which is why you opened up that boutique store. And I mean, you definitely have an eye for design, whether it's special events or home design. So kudos to you on that. So let me ask you, I'm just curious to know, during the pandemic, when you folks decided to open, were you a little hesitant? Were you surprised at how well the store did?
Yes, our timing and timeline wasn't necessarily planned in the way that it panned out, but I originally was like, okay, I'll start online and we'll see how COVID goes. This is May of 2020, and kind of take it from there. And this space came on the market that was the perfect floor plan. It was everything we had wanted and needed. And in a great area, and we just couldn't pass it up. So we took it and we worked for a few months on it. So we opened in October of 2020. So we didn't open right away, but it has been amazing at how many events we've had and that we have on the books, and people that come in and see us and that want to know more and want to plan events. It's been really great. And I think that it actually worked out somehow that I wanted to open a boutique store with a small event space because we could only have small events.
That's right. It was a perfect time to open that because we were pretty much shut down to, I think, no more than 20 people at some times for events.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your event space in the boutique store.
Yeah. So the gray room, it depends on the event. I own 24 white ghost chairs. So I say if we're doing sit down, that's our max is 24. But if we want to do a larger reception style event, we can do that as well.
Okay.
We're also completely open to moving out of the gray room and also into the boutique store. I'm happy to move retail or utilize it for shopping at the same time. And we can also do some really fun things indoor, outdoor. We're in a private area of our parking lot, which is not as great for shopping, but it's perfect for our events. So we do have the parking lot and we can do food trucks out there. We've done some really great local wine trucks and things like that too.
That's really cool. So that's a cool concept. You can bring it outside too for an outside event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, so just depending on the event, we can switch it all up, and it's a completely blank slate. It used to be the kitchen actually of a donut shop, and so we've taken all the kitchen equipment out, and it's just plain white walls. We have 2 beams that you can hang some great decor on. Again, we are completely open. We can hang things on the wall. We can drape it. We can do whatever anybody wants to do.
So I see the different types of events that you do host there. What is your favorite type of event that you've hosted so far?
Gosh, there's been so many. And we've done baby showers, bridal showers, art installations coming up, which I'm really excited to see the room in that capacity.
Nice.
We've done some great different layouts too with some local companies. To see the room with different decor pieces and how we can really lay it out. We even had a memorial service in the space, which I had never thought of, but they came in and said, we want something light and bright, which our shop is very light and bright and white. And it was very lovely. So things that I didn't even know were possible. And then when I first opened the shop, I needed traffic. I needed people to get in there, of course. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this without events being booked yet? And I opened it up as a pop-up shop. So for quite a few weekends, we allowed local artists to come in at no charge and set up, and they invited people, which helped me in the end. And it kind of became this regular thing. And I'm happy to say I have an entire notes list on my phone of probably 30 plus local artists that are like, when can we come do this?
Wow.
And that has been really enjoyable to meet all of these new people that, I wasn't a part of this community before, but now I know.
That's awesome. And I know I have reached out to you for semi-corporate, the associations I sit on, we were like, hey, we need a space that can accommodate, up to 10 people, but I know we were limited to no more than 6 at the time. And I did reach out to you. And of course, because some people were still at the time very uncomfortable meeting in person, so we kind of had to, take a step back and slow down a bit. But now that things are opening up, I mean, I think that's a great space for something like that. So like corporate small meetings, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a long, thin room. It's actually would be perfect for like a long work table, a conference room. And like I said, it used to be a kitchen. So I think we have like 20 wall plugs. So plenty of room for everybody's laptop.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So now I also know that you have worked or partnered up with like the Bottega Exchange, which is a co-working space, and they have little pop-up events as well too, or vendor markets, right? And you do that regularly. Is that like just a monthly thing that you do?
I have done one so far, but
Okay.
they start doing them quarterly. And then there's a great group of women here locally as well that actually came in and introduced themselves to me right away, and we've become very close friends
Very
as well.
nice.
And I adore them. They're called Desert Boss Babes.
Okay.
And they also are going to be doing quarterly or numerous pop-ups too. So we'll set up a table with them. And for us, it's an amazing time to sell our product, but it's also about getting out there and handing out flyers and saying, hey, we have an actual store, come visit us. But yeah, and it's crazy what a small world it is. I actually worked with one of the owners of Bottega, and I worked together on a school gala function. Well, I didn't do as much as I could or should have on the gala, but again, I was really busy in my other career. So I knew her from that. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, I want to come do a table. And it's just funny how worlds collide too.
That's awesome. I love that you're collaborating with everybody. I mean, we're such a small community. I mean, Vegas is so big for some people, but we do have that, little community of small businesses that get together. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, like, do you guys have plans to expand your store at any point? I mean, it's doing so well.
Ideally, that sounds amazing. The event space is smaller than what I originally imagined having. So again, it worked out perfectly for COVID. We only signed a 3-year lease. So we're only 6 months in. So we have 2.5 years, I think, to really decide how that space plays out for us. But yeah, I would love to have a larger event space, maybe even a little bit more retail.
Right.
Who knows, maybe a second location at some point.
Yeah, on the other side of town. So you're on both ends, right?
Exactly.
I hear you. That's awesome. I definitely have to go in soon before your event, because I actually do. There's a ton of stuff I see you posting, and I'm like, I got to go buy that. So yeah, I love the stuff that you sell there. So I'm looking forward to stepping in there very soon. So I'm curious to know, like, of course you come from a design background. What inspires you to do what you do and keep doing what you're doing with their store?
Sure. It started out as really just a passion of mine is shopping, for sure, to a fault maybe. And then events, I throw an over the top kids birthday party for every single thing. If someone says, oh, we're just having a very simple little dinner party, come over. I don't even know what that means. Simple. I'm like, okay. So
you're always doing a lot more than what they expect.
Yeah. And so now it's perfect because we will have every single family event at the Gray Room from now on. So I really just started it to do, to have something of our own. Another reason that we also went into this space versus maybe like a main mall or something is that if the kids have a baseball game at 3:00 and I need to close, we're going to close. We did this to make our lives easier and fulfill our lives in a better way as well, while getting to do what I love, which is shopping for amazing product and throwing really fun events along with it too.
So, you obviously have a passion for design, so this kind of fills that for you, and events as well. So it's kind of in the middle.
Yes, exactly. It's the best of both. And I think that some people are kind of like, wait, you have an event space in the retail, but it's funny how it's completely worked out. We've done some photo shoots where it's like, oh, let's steal some product from here as well and put that in the event space, or even people that come to the event, there's something to do. They can kind of walk around and shop or admire or chat or whatnot too. So they've worked well together in a non-traditional sense.
And it fits your family lifestyle now.
Absolutely, yeah. The baby is with me on Wednesday through Friday, so
that's awesome.
It's great to be able to spend much more time with her than I would, you know, in maybe a corporate career. She'd been in daycare by now, and she to go with me every day. And my oldest one likes to hang out on the weekends and help with events with her a little bit. So yeah, it's great.
That's the cool spot, and she's probably going to be old enough in a couple of years to actually start working there, right?
Oh, yes.
I understand the thought process, so that's really cool. So
weekends off and she'll be there.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can host events there with food and beverage. Is there are there any particular permits that are needed for your clients that want to book an event, you know, either outside in your parking lot or inside?
Not necessarily. If we're doing some things outside, the vendor themselves may need to pull a special permit to be out in the parking lot. But otherwise, you know, I have a great list of preferred caterers that I know and have vetted for years and love working with. So they have all of the things that they need. I do find right now, people are booking the space. They want to get out. They want to have their events. They want to book their space. There are not a lot of extras right now. So I definitely send out that preferred list a lot, but I do find that a lot of people are just kind of bringing in much more simple catering and things like that at the moment. So I do look forward to really getting in some of these local caterers and bar services too, to do some fun stuff. But right now, I think, you know, since COVID, it's definitely more down to the basics, but still great events.
Okay, nice. So, and I have another question that I always ask all my guests. Is there a daily affirmation or a quote that you actually like to start your day off with?
You know, I don't. I wish I did. I wish we were better about that. With the 3 children that are all on the different sleep schedules, I think if we can like get up and say good morning in a nice, happy way, it's a good start for us.
Nice. Well, you guys definitely have a busy family, a growing family, and I like that you keep everything, you know, together. I would have never known that you were missing out on, you know, kids events, or that you were just you hold your composure very well, even though you've got, you know, events going on back in your corporate days till like midnight. I know what that life's about. It got easier for me when my kids were much older. So at the age that your kids are at, which is why it took me a while to get into special events, because I couldn't leave them at home alone and I didn't want to miss a lot of their games. So when they're old enough to drive themselves or carpool with other teenage friends who could drive, I was like, perfect. I can go to this event and not, you know, I'll just meet her straight at her game and not have to drive all the way across town, go pick her up and go all the way back to the soccer park. So yeah, I'm glad that it's working out for you guys for sure. I am excited to hope and see you guys grow a little bit more. I love seeing you guys posting on social media. Now, tell me a little bit about your thought process when starting your Instagram page, because you have an amazing feed. You have great engagement from your followers and you have great product to showcase. Are you the main person behind everything? Yeah. You don't have a team at all? So it's just you. You're a one-woman show.
It's me, unless I'm yelling at my husband to help me with something to figure out. But
and you take all the photos and all that too, unless it's like a photo shoot?
For the most part, yeah. Luckily, we've been able to work with some great photographers recently too for some really cool styled shoots, along with local companies in the gray room. So I've been able to get some great photos there. But otherwise, yeah, it's, you know, it's and people ask where the shoppers kind of come from, or events, I should say too. And it is honestly pretty much all Instagram, which something I didn't necessarily think of going into this, but have learned so much from social media, and particularly for me, Instagram. I know a lot of people that do really good on Facebook, but mine is primarily Instagram. And then I've met some wonderful influencers along the way. They don't like that name, but there's some wonderful women that have helped me immensely, who have also become friends. And it's been great, but it's all Instagram. And I don't necessarily know what I'm doing, but
well, you're doing a great job at it, because I mean, a lot of people don't think, I was at mom at some point where I was like, oh, social media is just, it's horrible. It's not good for you. But then I eventually wanted to start promoting, my business on the side. And especially when I got into real estate, you really have to stay on top of things, or you have to stay relevant. And so you're doing an amazing job at it, which is, it's great, because a lot of people have boutique stores and don't market it as well and don't promote the products as well as you do. So good job on that. You're probably, and the fact that you even answer emails, I know I've reached out to you a few times to host the meeting. This was like, I think in November, December. And I was like, oh, she's answering her emails too. Like, I totally thought you had some help. So
yeah, I love it when people write me and they're like, what days are you in the shop? And I'm like, anytime that sign says open.
That's like that's your life now. Shop, and you bring the kids there. Yeah. And it's in your neighborhood, right? Like you live in
down the street. It's, and again, like I said, the hours, I've made hours to suit us. And, I have a lot of meetings that I do there too. That's like on a Monday or Tuesday when our shop is closed, but I'm like, sure, I'm bringing the kids.
Nice.
So yeah, still working hard and accommodating clients and friends and whomever, but just in a more suitable lifestyle for us.
Awesome. So I do have another question, last question. I know I keep saying that. And this is something we probably didn't rehearse, but I do want to know, is there a piece of advice that you can give anybody now who's thinking of opening up a storefront? I know, of course, the situation may be different because we're slowly coming out of the pandemic, and you opened yours up right during the pandemic. But somebody who's kind of hesitant and wants to open up a small brick and mortar, what kind of advice would you give them?
I think that I think I've said this to so many people, I need a new spiel. But one of the best things that have come out of this are the new relationships I have made and the people I've met that are locals. And we worked with locals in our hospitality world before, but it's a different environment of locals, I guess. And so get out there and network. And, I think in my old world too, I was always like, I was tired of networking and I was exhausted, but
we all get tired.
Yeah. I truly enjoy it so much right now. And I love when new people kind of walk through the door and introduce themselves. And I'm like, wait a minute, I knew you from so-and-so or blah, blah, blah. And all of the local artists here locally, soap makers, some friends, some girls that do, this woodwork. Like there are so many amazing people that I didn't know in my old life. And that has been the number one is getting out there and meeting these people because they have been my rock. They have been my support. They've been my community. And they help me by getting other people into the shop and getting my word out there. So honestly, that would be my number one, is to meet all of these amazing people.
That's awesome. And you're right, because a lot of people do look for places where they can kind of collaborate their art, their creative side, and like soap makers or woodworkers, a lot of them have to end up going downtown to the arts district. Yeah. And you're in the neighborhood, it's something different from what they're used to, all the artists that I know. So yeah, I'm excited to see you guys do more, because when I look at your feed, I'm like, oh, she's having like an oil party there, and I use essential oils every day as well. So I see those pop-ups and I'm like, that's really cool. So you're bringing everybody together, which is nice. Awesome.
Thank you. And I when people say that, I do get that a few times, and I'm like, wasn't necessarily my intention, but it's been so amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's just been so fulfilling.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm happy for you. I'm very excited to visit your store soon and actually attend an event there. So thank you.
Class is amazing. Yes,
it is. I saw the photos and I saw the food, and we have a mutual friend, Jane. She texted me and she's like, you've got to go to this. And I said, you know what? I do. So
yes. In fact, that night is a kind of a special, mostly industry friends event. So
okay.
A bunch of us coming.
It'll be like a reunion.
Yes, totally. It'll be
very fun.
A night.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you are as a mom and a business owner. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your evening. So I'm going to let you go, but I really, really wish you the best of luck. I'm excited, and I always get excited when I see people that I know, even if you're not like a really close friend of mine, but I love to see mutual friends of mine grow their business. So I wish you the best of luck, and I hopefully you'll be able to open up a second storefront in like a year or two.
Right, and we can
actually 2 years, right? Because you're still on your lease. So
yeah, we have a little bit. I mean, maybe sooner. We'll see, but
yeah,
maybe we can start doing some staging of your homes together too.
I know, right? I mean, that's what I started following your feed, and the decor that you do in your own personal home. I was like, she's got to have some design background, like home design. So that makes sense now that I know you went to school for interior design. So yes, looking forward to collaborating in the future very soon. Thank you, Lauren. I hope you have a great evening. Go enjoy your little piggy and the kids when they all come home.
You too. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. All right, we'll chat again soon. Bye.
Bye.